Wow, the IBF rules that Teofimo Lopez versus mandatory George Kambosos must take place in the United States of America, not Australia. So this is seemingly a win for Team Lopez, but I'm gonna give you all the details in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit the like button. It goes a long way when you guys click the like button to encourage others and notify others that this is the content they're looking for. My name is Ego. This is your one-stop shop for all your boxing needs. Mess with me. Now, Dan Rayfield, he was the first to break this. It says, breaking. The IBF has officially ruled on Lopez Kambosos. It will not default Triller's purse bid. Fight must take place on October 17th, and it must take place, quote, in a location and venue that does not require a quarantine. Signed contracts it says might be, but I guess it must be submitted to the IBF within 15 days. Continued. Goes on to say, if Triller fails to submit signed contracts by August 24th, the bid will be defaulted and the rights go to the number 2 bidder, Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, which would have 90 days from that point to make the fight or to fight. If Lopez doesn't comply with the order, his title is vacated. If Kambosos doesn't comply, Lopez may begin talks with the next IBF contender. Wow. So, what does this mean? To me, this thing is a bad look for Teofimo Lopez, and I'll explain why. So you see here, he's tested positive, he said, on June 15th. He has since, after he tested positive, there were conflicting reports on ESPN on their show with Lomachenko Nakatani. The reporter on ESPN literally said that Teofimo was with his pregnant wife in Italy. And that same day, there were also reports from other reporters who stipulated that Teofimo was still sick with the Rona and he was bedridden in Las Vegas. Clearly, these are two different stories, right? So it drew suspicion. You got two top-ranked fighters who pulled out of main events shortly before the event was to commence. That's Tyson Fury and Teofimo. Both were top-ranked and both had conflicting stories where Tyson Fury, he was seen on the strip and at pubs and bars and in the casinos with no mask, and people were like, wait, I thought you had the Rona. Same thing with Teofimo, as I just mentioned. There were conflicting reports if he was on vacation in Italy, was he not on vacation, etc. Now you have this whole fiasco that I just went through regarding the IBF. So keep in mind, as I just declared, he was supposed to fight against George Kambosos in June when Mayweather fought Logan Paul. And then they got scared of Mayweather-Logan Paul being announced, so they pushed it back. And then the fight week, June 15th, he called out, or I said called out, but he pulled out sick and said he had the Rona. And they were doing all this promotion and flyers. They said Michael Hunter versus Wilson. This was pulled from this card because the card got postponed and put in pairing in conjunction with the Locks versus Dipset battle, right? These other fights got canceled or didn't happen. Victor Belfort is now fighting Oscar De La Hoya instead of this Holston dude. And these other fights and musical performances and stuff, we just don't know. Meek Mill and all that. So now he's been in limbo, and this is just horrible for your momentum. In October, he beat Vasyl Lomachenko, and it looked like the sky was the limit. And to fight your mandatory, it's just been one thing after another. And Teofimo, by the time this is all wrapped up, he will have definitely been out of the ring for a year. And I just think that's poor considering how much momentum he had in beating Lomachenko. He said he was undisputed, even though there's conflicts there and a clear dispute with Devin Haney. But now they're talking about if he doesn't comply, he'll have to vacate his belt. So he certainly won't be able to, pander to the fans and call himself undisputed if he's forced to vacate himself and the other, or to vacate his IBF title. And the other thing that looks insane on top of, there's just so many layers to this. I don't even know where to begin, to be honest. Teofimo's dad said, we got J-Lo. And he said his son was going to do $2 million on Triller. But now if Triller doesn't submit the paperwork basically within 2 weeks, then it goes to Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. And that's just crazy. Just put this in perspective, or I'll put it in perspective. Just listen. Per the IBF ruling, if Teofimo and Triller don't present the fight with signed contracts by August 24th, then the second highest bidder, which is Eddie Hearn and DAZN and Rematch Room, they get the fight. So imagine Teofimo beating Lomachenko for all those belts. They called him undisputed. They said he was the star. They had been building him up on ESPN. And even if Triller defaults, the fight still wouldn't go next in line to Top Rank. That's insane. Can you imagine? That would be like PBC, if you can imagine it, having Errol Spence fight Pacquiao. Let's say he beats Pacquiao, and the sky's the limit. Like, man, Errol Spence just defeated Pacquiao. The best name on his resume, or the most impactful name on his resume, etc. And then everything that's happened with Teofimo Lopez, imagine that happening to Errol Spence right after PBC just had him fight Pacquiao. And if he beats Pacquiao in the fashion that Teofimo beat Lomachenko, which was decisively. Can you imagine that? So I think this is a bad look for Top Rank and Teofimo, because they've completely stalled out his momentum, and things have happened in between that have hurt Teofimo's stock. Whereas if he would just fought Lomachenko, beat Lomachenko, and then fought Kambosos by now, then he would be well on his way, if he defeated Kambosos, of course, you know, and his career has taken a major backseat. Like I said, that would be equivalent of PBC having Errol Spence beat a name like Pacquiao and then let it falter and then get outbid by 2 other companies to have Errol Spence fight on DAZN or ESPN. You'd be like, what are you doing? Like, how do you have one of your biggest stars, if not your biggest star, and he's fighting on a neighboring network? Like I said, just so you guys see, if Triller doesn't, like, let's say Triller says 6 million, we were tripping. We got versus battle, Ice Cube's big 3. We're not paying 6 million to Teofimo no more. It still wouldn't go back to ESPN. It still wouldn't go back to Top Rank unless the number 2 bidder, Rematch Room, and Eddie Hearn and DAZN don't want the fight anymore, or they don't have the money anymore, or they're not willing to put it up. I just think that's a bad look. That's a bad look. And then if Teofimo, God forbid, if he vacates his belt, then that's going to be a terrible look. He's been telling everyone he's undisputed, anyone who would listen, even though there's the Devin Haney conflict with the WBC. So to lose this IBF belt that he's pictured with, that would be definitely an L as well. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll see who gets the fight, if the fight happens. It's just been a lot of waiting, especially for somebody you would have thought it would have been the horses are off to the races after his last performance. But they're talking about Lomachenko fighting Richard Comey. Teofimo is going to be fighting around that same time, if not fighting. I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. Let me know what you guys think. Use my link in the description to get TubeBuddy, an awesome way to help you get your videos noticed by optimizing them, in turn making you more money. Use the link for TubeBuddy. Hit the like button. Let me know what you guys make of this whole Teofimo fiasco. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We out.